This is the VOA Special English Technology Report. The modern way to collect signatures on a petition requires no paper or pen or standing on a street for hours. Change.org and other websites let people start or sign online petitions. There are many different reasons why people start petitions at change.org. The top causes range from animal protection to criminal justice to women's rights. Lauren Todd of New York started a petition a few months ago after she saw a picture of a girl's shirt on Facebook. The shirt read, "I'm too pretty to do homework, so my brother has to do it for me." As Ms. Todd told CBS television, it was outrageous enough to be posted on Facebook, but it was actually more outrageous than that. And I felt like I needed to do something about it. Her petition urged shoppers to boycott JCPenney stores until they stopped selling shirts with what she called sexist messages. 5 hours later, Shelby Knox started tweeting about the petition to her thousands of Twitter followers. Ms. Knox is the director of women's rights organizing for Change.org. Some of her followers also started tweeting about the shirt and signing the petition. Ms. Knox says, from the time that Lauren started the petition on Change.org and JCPenney pulled the shirt, it was about 10 hours, in which it got over 2,000 signatures, and at one point was generating over 400 tweets a minute. She said that with each new signature, an email automatically went to JCPenney's public relations team. Another went to the company's chief. JCPenney, without comment, discontinued the shirts. Clothing designer John Noon has worked with a number of large stores. He says he has always used words like pretty or princess when he creates shirts for girls. It's easier to sell a shirt that says "My Little Princess" than "My A Student," he says. But now, with the internet, consumers who take offense can do more than just write an angry letter to the company. Another clothing seller, Forever 21, got in trouble not long after JCPenney. Forever 21 was selling a girl's shirt that read, "Allergic to algebra." It stopped selling them the day after the story spread. Robin Sacken is a professor at New York's Fashion Institute of Technology. She says children are influenced by their parents, not the words on a shirt. So if my child says to me, "Mommy, I want to get that," I've said, "Okay, you can have it, but just remember something. I don't care if you're pretty. You're doing your homework." For VOA Special English, I'm Carolyn Presutti. This is the VOA Special English Technology Report. Benjamin Stassen took his own life in 2010. His parents thought their 21-year-old son was happy. Since his suicide, they have attempted to learn why he killed himself. Alice and Jay Stassen thought Benjamin's Facebook account might hold clues to his suicide. But the account does not belong to them, nor did it belong to their son. Facebook owns everything in his account. That is what the company says in its user agreement. Jay Stassen says he found it difficult even to communicate with Facebook. If you search on the home page of Facebook for an email address, a mailing address, a phone number, or a contact person to help, he says, you will find little information. A court ordered the company to let the Stassens see their son's account, but Facebook has yet to obey the order. 34-year-old Mac Tonys died in his sleep in 2009. He left behind a lot of online friends, many of whom liked his futuristic blog, Post-Human Blues. Work on the blog stopped when he died. A short time later, the comments area was filled with unwanted advertising. That angered his friend, Dia Sobin. He said the advertising, or spam, dishonored his friend. Lawyer John Boucher stays informed about digital rights and the law, but he admits that he and his wife have signed many user agreements without reading them. He says he would not know how to get information from his wife's accounts if she dies. Mr. Boucher says he thinks that laws will be written over time to deal with these situations, but it will take a long time to be accepted by the states. Some businesses now are offering people a way to control what happens to their online information after they die. One way to do this is to place your online accounts and passwords in a digital storage area. You give the owners of the area orders about which information to destroy and which to give others when you die. Mark Plattner was one of Mac Tonys' friends. He recently used a program called SiteSucker to download Mac's blog. He then uploaded a copy of the blog to a new website under his control. Mark Plattner says we should all plan our own digital legacy. He says, don't be passive. Get to work on your online afterlife now. And that's the VOA Special English Technology Report. You can leave comments about this story at voaspecialenglish.com. I'm Carolyn Presutti.
This is the VOA Special English Development Report. Market researchers estimate that more than 1 billion personal computers are in use worldwide. Availability has improved in developing countries, but still remains limited compared to industrialized nations. Experts continue to debate how best to close this digital divide. Nicholas Negroponte established the One Laptop Per Child project in 2005. He would like to put a low-cost laptop in the hands of every child, especially those living in extreme poverty. His nonprofit organization has shipped its specially designed laptop to developing countries around the world. He says it is already in the hands of more than 1 million children in 31 countries and 19 languages. And one country, Uruguay, has just completed doing every single child in the country, he says. But the program has critics. They say trying to supply every child with a laptop, even at the current price of $160, is costly and inefficient. Stephen Ducker also makes low-cost computers, but his can run programs and applications for several students at once. He says these virtual desktops lower costs, reduce energy use, and lessen the need for technical support. His company, N Computing, says it has set up over 40,000 networks in more than 100 countries. Stephen Ducker says all you need to connect to a network is a keyboard and monitor. You think you've got your own computer all to yourself, he says. Instead, users are sharing the resource and doing it at a much lower cost than having their own PC. As computers reach more children in developing countries, so too in many cases is the internet. It can be a great educational tool. But children also need to learn about the possible threats that can be found on social networks and other sites. Mark Mutunga is with Microsoft East Africa in Kenya. He says poverty may put African children especially at risk. They are being told, hey, you know what? I can send you a few dollars. I can come and visit you. I can buy you a ticket. You come to my country. His company is working with the Kenyan government and a children's rights group. Mark Mutunga says the coalition is trying to educate the public about how to protect children from online abuse. And that's the VOA Special English Development Report, available on Twitter and Facebook at VOA Learning English.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Technology Report. The war in the Gaza Strip is being fought as much on the internet as it is on the ground. Some people say the increased use of social media is changing the way people look at the conflict. Palestinian activists recently put a video on the YouTube website. The video shows rescue workers trying to help a Palestinian boy look for his family. Suddenly, the boy is seen lying on the ground. The video claims he was shot by Israeli gunmen. A second bullet appears to kill him. The video was shared on social media. Palestinians and Israelis have fought before. But now, Palestinians are telling their war stories directly to the world through social media. Lisa Goldman is with the New America Foundation, a nonprofit group. She says Israelis have used Twitter for a long time. She says Palestinians on Twitter is a much more recent event. Youssef Munayer heads the Jerusalem Fund, a pro-Palestinian group. He says that earlier news reports about the Middle East were generally pro-Israel. But he says active social media work by Palestinians is changing how traditional media report the news. The Israeli government understands the power of this new technology. Jed Shine is the social media director at Israel's embassy in Washington. He warns against thinking that social media truly show how the public feels about issues. There is little scientific evidence to prove how effective social media is in reporting about the conflict between Israel and Gaza. Lisa Goldman says it is important to have news media professionals report from conflict areas. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.